All right, what's going on, guys? Loopy here, back at it with a new video. Today, I have a couple stories for you, so we're gonna just jump straight into it. So, in February, I went with a friend on a backpacker trip to India. Right there, man. Going to India, not gonna say anything, but the street food videos that I've seen are just horrendous. I do feel like they paint the picture a little worse than it actually is, but I mean, God, it's bad. It is disgusting. I saw a guy cut food with his toes, man. Anyways, sorry. It was triggered by us not knowing what we wanted in life. So everything was pretty spontaneous and radical. Yeah, so you don't know what to do in life, you go to India. I don't understand people. We landed in Bangalore. Bangalore? I don't know. And had a good 2 weeks of traveling until we ended up in a tourist riddled Palalam beach, Goa, at a cheap bungalow. After 2 weeks, we were supposed to check out so we could move on and travel somewhere else. But the night before, something happened that changed our plans. We were walking on the beach to a so called silent party where everyone has headphones to listen to music because of noise regulations at night. As usual, I was carrying my guitar with me that I had bought there because it was a good way to strike up conversations with people and just jam. We passed by these two nice Indian guys who started talking to us. No big deal. They just wanted to chat, right? They ended up inviting us to breakfast next day. Coincidentally, the same day we were checking out. We agreed because we were already used to talking to strangers, so we didn't think more of it. The next day, checked out as planned and met them. It would just take an hour or something, we thought. Suddenly, they pointed to their car and tell us to get in so we could drive to their apartment nearby. I found that a bit weird as I was thinking we would just go eat at a restaurant or something. But my friend had already gotten into the car, so I decided to think no more of it. Trusting strangers on a random trip is like, I mean, it's like both good and bad. I think like you have to experience that, but like make your choice wisely. I don't know if you guys know Anthony Bourdain, but he always said to accept random acts of hospitality. And like that's the case here, but I mean, like you gotta judge. Anyways, after a 10-minute drive or something, we arrived into their apartment. When we got there, we noticed two more Indian guys, and the mood quickly changed. We tried socializing with them, but it seemed like they were almost waiting for something. Suddenly, they proposed to us that we could help them smuggle jewelry to Japan, and we would be greatly rewarded. Besides, according to them, it was also a loophole in the regulations, which made it legal. This is where my warning signals went sky high. We said we would rather not participate in this scheme and we would rather be on our way. That is when things turned kind of ugly. They got very pissed off and told us we had no choice. Then we had to sign a bunch of papers, give them our signatures, and let them take pictures of our passports and credit cards. As we did all of this, a bunch of other Indians also arrived, so we were surrounded and didn't know how the hell we were going to get out of this mess. After a bunch of business stuff and meeting a super creepy guy, Dave Grohl, Dave Grohl lookalike, with lots of tattoos and long hair, who seemed to be somewhat in charge of the whole thing, we were put in a car with three of them and driven off to a nearby bigger town and checked into a shitty motel near the train tracks. We would never be alone. We could never get out of their sight. And we were piss scared at this moment. I don't see the mention of any like weapons or anything, so like I don't know why you wouldn't just be able to run away. But yeah, it's pretty scary. The next day we woke up to a phone who allegedly was Indian Toll Customs, who said they had found jewelry on the way to Japan and that we needed to give them the appropriate papers as sign of proof of purchase. This was obviously not Indian police, but the guys who held us wanted us to believe it. And they always insisted that this was a legit thing and the jewelry was real. Oh, and I failed to mention, they showed us the real jewelry made of diamonds and emeralds. And they even let us send them. No, they even let us see them send it. After this, we almost started believing that it was actual police that had called us. And we now thought we were wanted. It's crazy what your mind can do to you when you fear for your life. So now the guys say that we will be waiting for more people involved in this who will help us get out of this mess. We are quite scared now, and we propose that maybe we can sit in the restaurant downstairs to be in public. The guys tell us to relax, and 5 minutes later, at least 5 or 6 more guys arrive. This is like a cult. One guy one guy has a scar, and another one introduces himself as Max. There's no way an Indian guy's name is Max, and that he wanted to help us deal with the toll customs. We would later find out that Max was a psychopath and had no regard for his own life at all, and would do anything to get what he wanted. At this hotel, we now had to call our banks and try to increase our MasterCard credit limits. And then they would empty our accounts with a credit card terminal they had bought, probably one from their fake jewelry companies. I had to go to a nearby internet cafe to log into my net bank. And while I did, my friend found out that Max was psycho and got threatened by him. He didn't tell me about this until later, though, so I didn't know not to mess with him. When I got back from the cafe, I told them that the bank refused to unlock all of my money because of rules, for a good reason. And Max snapped at me. He stared me right into my soul and told me not to lie to him. That is when I found out that he was a psycho. I repeatedly told him that there was nothing I could do except to try to get people from home to wire me more money. Eventually, he let it go and we could move on. After spending the entire day getting our bank accounts emptied, they put us in a taxi they bought or rented or something and drove us into the jungle in the middle of the night. This is where we thought we would definitely get murdered and jumped into the jungle. And dumped into the jungle, sorry. We had heard about tourists going missing in Goa, so I even had my shitty Del pocket knife from Toscana opened and ready to defend myself if the worst should happen. I think I would have pulled out the knife like way long ago. After a long drive with two different drivers who apparently had no driving skill at all and almost got us killed twice on the road, we eventually ended up in Mumbai. They drove us to the airport, and at the first terminal, I had to empty the last of my account and give them the cash right there, surrounded by at least 10 security guards with MP5s. By the way, we didn't want to ask them for help because we legitimately thought there was a chance we were wanted by the Indian authorities. As I was going to hand Max the last of my money, I refused and said I didn't want to. This was a bad decision. He just stood there for 5 seconds staring at me before I slowly just filling up with rage. I could see him just fueling up and that he was going to snap at me. He blurted out a bunch of words at me and threatened me and said that he would slit my throat before charging towards me. Luckily, the other guy who was with us was slightly more reasonable and sane, held him back, but a security guard came up to us and asked if we were okay. It must have been a weird sight for that security guard coming up to me with 100,000 rupees in my hand. Two Indian guys who looked crazy and looked like they were mafia, and me just being able to talk because of the fright. I really wanted to just end it all there and ask for help. But they had told us they would send us on a plane back home. Obviously, so we would not be able to report them. So I decided to tell the guard we were okay. He looked at me with a really weird look and told me my money was supposed to be in my pockets. After this incident, we were told to get into a taxi and drive to the other terminal to get on the plane back home. I felt an urge to just stay there, considering I would be sitting next to a psycho who had just told me he would slit my throat. But my friend was still with me, and I couldn't just leave him. So we got into the taxi and drove to the other terminal. I mean, being in public so many times, I don't see how you can not get out of this unless you're just like a, you're actually a wuss. Like, I don't understand. At the other terminal, we took an elevator to a more secluded part of the airport with not much people, and Max told me to give him the money. I had refused him earlier. I was a bit reluctant, mostly because I was just scared of him. So he went into rage mode again before hitting me in the stomach, emptying my pockets and starting to burn the cash. Yes, he was absolutely mental. He said that it was nothing to him and claimed I had offended him by offering him the money right after refusing him it. After the rational guy managed to calm him down again over some time, I ended up giving him the rest of the money, and we managed to get into the terminal and get our tickets. I wonder how much 100,000 rupees is. Let me check that out. 100,000 rupees in USD. 100, that's less than 100,000. Yeah, 100,000 rupees is about equivalent to like a grand US. It's not a crazy amount of money, but still a lot of money. All right, let's get back to it. Finally, we were away from those people and had legit tickets back home. We just had to get through the passport check that Max claimed they had bribed for like 500,000 rupees or something. We were still scared of Indian police, and we just wanted to contact the police back home. But we managed to get through the check without sweating too much. We took the plane from Mumbai and landed in Abu Dhabi, where we scraped together the last of our money to buy ourselves each a Big Mac. Eating beef after having food poisoning and only eating chicken in India was a big thing and felt very relieving. We took another plane from Abu Dhabi to Brussels and then home on a small propeller airplane. When we landed back home, we contacted the police at the airport, and after that, we have had to be questioned by police for many hours. Whether the bank/insurance will cover the losses is still not decided, but I will find out in the next few days. We also had to go meet a psychologist several times to find out if we had post traumatic stress. Man, that's a crazy story, but they brought them to so many different places. I don't see how you cannot get out of that. Like, I would be swinging immediately. All right, so we're going to continue with the next story. This one's about a weird high school friend. This was 4 years ago when I was a freshman in high school. I had a best friend. I'll call her Deli. Deli was able to make it into show choir, which was a dream of hers, by randomly showing up at the choir's director's door and singing impromptu. I don't know what the hell impromptu is, but yeah. Fast forward to competition season. She's got very few friends because she's a little crazy, ADD, hyperactive person who took nothing seriously and had no desire to make anyone's life better. She basically did whatever she thought was funny, with no regards to consequences for herself or others. So she's walking around with my other friend. I introduced them. I'll call her Jem. Jem and Deli get to go on a break, and they decide to go to some really ghetto strip mall near the high school. So they walk past this little pet shop, and Deli sees this albino rat. She thought it was cute and that its cage wasn't a good enough home, so she bought it for only $1. A freaking albino rat. Those are like the white rats with like red eyes. Those are really scary. She felt so awesome for saving this rat from its life at the pet shop. She thought it was going to be eaten by a larger pet. That's a bit weird. Then she remembers that she's at a show choir competition about 3 hours away from her house, and she spent her actual last dollar on a rat. Nobody's going to buy her stupid rat a cage since it's only $1. Like I said, she didn't have many friends beside Jem and a few others. So now, where's that rat going to go for the rest of the day and during the bus ride home? Well, some guy bought Deli and the rat a Caesar salad and a to go box. So, for the afternoon, the rat lived in the box of salad, probably just doing fine and munching on a salad. Unfortunately, the dressing was pre-mixed into the lettuce and other ingredients, so the whole setup was pretty slimy. A few glitches happened during the ride home, but not crucial to the story. Mostly everyone just hated Deli even more because she once again did something stupid and crazy without regard to the future health of the rat. By the way, she named him Caesar Salad. So she gets home and hides the rat from her mom because her mom is a crazy psycho. Other stories abound, and also because she can't have a pet rat. Her mom would freak out if she found out about the salad box. So Deli asked me to take him in as my pet. I've never been allowed to have a pet, and my parents didn't change their mind for Caesar salad either. So the weekend has passed, and on Monday, I get the bright idea to give the rat to my science teacher because she didn't have a class pet yet, and she liked me pretty well. Everything goes well, and Deli brings the rat to school to give to me so I can give it to my teacher. The same friend who bought the salad also happened to have a spare rat cage lying around and gave it to me, so my teacher couldn't say no. I always left my locker unlocked and told her to put the little guy in my locker. By the way, he's still in a box, and Deli hasn't cleaned it or changed any of the lettuce out, or even let the rat out for a little. This rat is for sure dead. Um, so she tells me she's made the drop off. After school, I go to my locker, open it up, and the box isn't in there. She's sure she put it in there. We assumed it gotten stolen or whoever found it in their locker let it outside or something. So for the rest of the week, we laughed about how silly it is. Then on Friday, my best friend tries checking the other lockers in case someone still had it in there and happened to leave it there unlocked. So Friday after school, we find it after trying to open like 50 lockers near mine. Deli's very dumb at this age. So despite my clear instructions, including my locker number, she got the wrong locker. We were ecstatic because we found him. The rat looms terrible. Not looms, looks terrible. He's yellow and wet and matted, surely scared and covered in poop, pee, and nearly suffocating. The box is so slimy, it's horrifying. Just our luck, my teacher is gone that day. So we took him in her room and left him in the cage I made for him over the weekend. No food, no water. Keep in mind that the rat has been treated like trash for over a week now, and it's basically all my friend's fault. At one point, she wanted to be a vet. After that, he got great care from my teacher, and he was an awesome rat. Oh, and my teacher refused to call him Caesar salad because she obviously didn't support the cruel treatment. But she did call him Caesar. So Caesar lived out his days eating pencils and nibbling on my finger. He got an armpit tumor roughly a year after he was purchased, and a different teacher threw him out into our town's river. That's a very weird story. I kind of picked it out of random, but yeah. I mean, how can you sell a pet to like a young kid? I don't know how old they are, but yeah, you get the point. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna do 2 stories for today. I didn't really like the second story, to be fair with you, but I'm gonna get better ones for the next video for sure. But nevertheless, leave a like, subscribe, and yeah, peace.